If you've caught this show before, you know it's Emil Amok's Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. And when we travel, we go outside of our closet and we go into a bigger closet, as it were. We're in New York City, where Emil Amok, Lost NPR host, yeah, that Lost NPR host, A Fool's Filipino American History, tonight, or not tonight, what am I saying? Wednesday night. Wednesday night. Today's Tuesday. Wednesday night, the 6th, 9 6, 7 o'clock. So there are tickets available. So, catch it. It's I think tickets are pretty reasonable. Go to the link frigid.nyc. You can get tickets there. And I'm just going to tell this to you special viewers. If you use the code Emil, good things will happen. Emil, yeah, EMIL. Use the code Emil. Good things will happen. Uh, that's for your tickets for Emil Amok, Lost NPR host, A Fool's Filipino American History. And that's playing Wednesday on the 6th at 7 p.m. Then again on the 14th. Yeah, you can't stop me. I'm just going to keep doing this show. The 14th, it's a Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Yeah, people go out at 9:30 at night. I hope it's not ridiculously hot where you are. It is sort of semi ridiculously hot where I am, except I'm indoors. But here's how ridiculous I like to be. I like to not put on the air conditioner because, air conditioning, the fluorocarbons and all that, bad scene. So I thought, okay, I'm going to be one with the environment. I'm not going to have air conditioning, and I'm just going to swelter as if I were outside. But actually, it's still a little cooler. But now, at a certain time, it does reach equilibrium, and then it's the same outside, inside. Anyway, it's hot. I mean, the first couple of weeks I've been here, it hasn't been that hot, but it is hot today. Anyway, it's Tuesday. I'm preparing for my show. It's going to be a good show. Emil Muckloss, NPR host. It is an iteration of the show that I've been doing in San Francisco, that I did in New York in February and March. But the new things, new breakthroughs. I really do the show. It's sort of stand upy, but it's more storytelling y, and I tell a story about my life, my Filipino American life, and it does include being literally a lost NPR host. I tell that, and that story I discovered while doing the show, so that's kind of interesting. Uh, I literally am lost, and and then I talk about history, the Filipino American history that you don't know about because no one talks about it. Funny thing is, there's only one reason why we don't know Filipino American history. It's the same reason why we don't know African American history or general Asian American history, and it's basically because of white supremacy. I mean, to be totally honest. So catch my show, and here's the thing about Emil Amok, Lost NPR host. If you can't be live at 94 St. Mark's Place in the East Village in New York City on Wednesday at 7 p.m., Wednesday the 6th at 7 p.m., or Thursday the 14th at 9:30 p.m., go to that link, get a ticket to the live stream. Yeah, the live stream. You can see it live. You say, Emil, it's not the same. You don't express yourself by using the plosives that might hit and celebrate our humanity, our common humanity. I mean, and a lot of people are like, some people are masked up. I mean, there's no masking protocols, and there's nothing like you have to prove your test because we're in this period now of denial of everything, and people are just going on trust. Frankly, I do on the airplane. Although some people say, "Oh, the airplane it's the least likely where you're going to encounter anything. But look, I like, and except I don't have one handy here, but uh, in a different sort of thing these days in the theater, like no one's saying you got to match. We're on good behavior. We're here as people who have best interests at heart. So we want to come together in a theatrical setting or to watch and respect each other, laugh, tell some stories, understand our commonality, and that's the whole purpose of why I do this one man show. Why I tell my story, a story that otherwise would not be told. So, Emil, Amok, Lost NPR host. There's the information there. Go see it, or come see it at 94 St. Mark's Place in the East Village in New York on Wednesday the 6th at 7 p.m., Thursday the 14th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't make it, if you're in Hawaii or say you're in, I don't know, California, Washington State, Washington, D.C., and you aren't going to make it up here, well, you can live stream it. Still pretty good. Today, I want to talk about a couple things before I exit, and I'll try to make it short because I've watched other people's videos and I say, when are they going to stop? No. Next week also is the last weekend that I'm in this play called The Conductor. Now you say, well, what is The Conductor, Emil? The Conductor is Ishmael Reed's, the prominent African-American writer Ishmael Reed's 11th play. And it talks about race relations in this country, starting from the assault on local education, local government, local DA's offices with recall efforts to stop progressive activity, progressive type of uh, you know policies. And so it takes the local situation that occurred in San Francisco in the Bay Area, and it does a what if and expands globally. And my God, the patterns of racism, if you look at it, it's startling. But we don't know a lot of the facts the play, the play deals in and that it expresses because we don't know the history. So if you're in New York, now that show is not streamed, but if you're in New York, you ought to see The Conductor. The Conductor, it's at Theater for the New City. And Theater for the New City is on First Avenue in New York. You got to see it live. It has its final run. It's been here for 3 weeks, but the final run is on Thursday through Saturday. So Thursday at 8, Friday at 8, Saturday at 8, Sunday, the final show is a matinee at 3 p.m. Can't miss it. The Conductor, Ishmael Reed. Every time I do it, I learn something new about American race history, even though it's clearly a satire, clearly fictional, but so infused with history that it'll make you say, wow, I didn't know that. But it's real. It's all real history. So those are the two things I've been doing. I've been preparing for my one-man show, Emil Amok, Lost NPR host, here at Under St. Mark's, frigid.nyc for tickets. And then I've been doing The Conductor. So this is like last February, March, my period to take time to act. And, I do get paid. I'm not getting paid, but I'm not getting rich off it. I mean, it's a labor of love, right? You do it for love, for the experience of acting, waiting in the wings, and a small role in The Conductor has really been, well, I mean, I'm ready for larger roles, but it's been an experience. I mean, to cram in that small, like a 6-minute part, an experience in the theater. I mean, it's been great for me. And then to do my one man show, which is like me just going on stage and slicing a vein and letting it run just for an hour. But it's a good hour, and that's once again Wednesday at 7, and then Thursday the 14th at 9:30. And then I don't know what happens to either of these productions. I mean, the conductor may get another run somewhere on the West Coast. I hope. Um, Emil Amok, lost NPR host, as I do it and as I refine it, probably will go on the Fringe circuit next year, which means hopefully stops in Orlando and God knows where, Rochester. I don't know, maybe Canada. I mean, I know some artist friends who've been saying you ought to go to Edmonton. You ought to go to Edmonton. So I mean, maybe I'll try Edmonton. So because that's a great Fringe. It happens at the same time as the Edinburgh Fringe. So if you don't go to the Big Daddy Fringe, Edinburgh, and I've had people who went to Edinburgh and they're raving about it. You know, it's an orgy of independent theater, and it's great, but uh, it's a lot. It's a lot of effort, and so I generally people love the fact that they're there in in Edinburgh, but that's kind of like a bucket list thing. I'd rather be in Edmonton at the same time if I can fill a theater and reach new audiences. I mean, and the Filipino Americans in Edmonton, or the Filipino Canadians, massive number there, as I understand. All right, so like I said, I don't know where these productions are going to go, but they're going to go somewhere. As long as I'm around, they're going to go somewhere. Uh, Boy, so many deaths that we had to endure over the weekend, and mostly pop stars. Well, pop stars and news figures. Jimmy Buffett has died, and he sort of represented a kind of lifestyle, like minorities. You know, that people just assume we're lazy, right? But now he was the lazy white guy. He was the lazy white guy, but he was not the lazy white guy. He was like this multi-millionaire lazy white guy who sold the lazy white guy dream. Like, oh, you don't have to work so hard. You can have the margarita. It's always 5 o'clock. This was like giving the excuse to white people to be lazy and have fun. Stop being type A. You don't have to be type A. Now, people of color, people just assume we are Margaritaville. I don't know. I mean, I remember when I first heard Margaritaville. It was nice. I mean, the 70s, right? Jaunty little ditty, but I wasn't buying it. I mean, yeah, on a boat, sipping your margarita, relaxing. Okay, I get it. But, I didn't, I, I was too busy trying to get somewhere and overcome things and make it. And I'm totally Margaritaville now, though. But anyway, so people remembering Jim Buffett, I was in FM radio for a while, and so I got to know Buffett, but also Gary Wright died. Now Gary Wright is one of those one two hit wonders. You know his song Dreamweaver, that kind of astral space kind of sound synthesizer. Man, that song, he milked that song. But it was a great song, great beat. All you need is one song, and he had that. He had Love Is Alive, and everything else I don't know. But Gary Wright in his spacesuit, who can forget that album, Dreamweaver? But he died. He was 80. The Dreamweaver. So things are catching up. Mortality is catching up to us. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling my mortality when the pop icons. If you're younger, just think, in like 60 years when Olivia Rodrigo's on her deathbed, you'll say, God, yeah, she's saying driver's license. If you go to my Twitter account, I tweet a thing on pop music that he prays on Olivia Rodrigo. And it really is amazing. This Filipino American girl who talks about breakups. I mean, hope she has a good relationship at some point. I feel like she's my daughter or something. I want her to have a good relationship. And then, but maybe not, because that would change your songs. I don't have a good relationship, because then you'll write sucky songs. So thank God you're having bad relationships, because your songs are good. But I, I, I appreciate her more after listening to this podcast. If you go to @Emil Amok on X, formerly known as Twitter, enlightening about the just the art behind the ego. And as fate would have it, she's going to be in New York in a couple days. I may just go and watch her on the day, when she comes out in the summer concert. But you got to get there at 5. So I don't know. Man, maybe I like her, but is that pervy to say you like Olivia Rodrigo when you're old enough to be her grandfather? Maybe father. Maybe your father. What else is happening? I thought it was because of Burning Man, and it's a new tragedy. Were you at Maui? No. Were you at Burning Man? No. I was in New York. My air conditioner didn't work. That was the tragedy of the week. No, Burning Man. I think that's the thing. Everyone over the weekend was just sort of focused on. Well, first of all, it is a real tragedy when 70,000 people are expected to go there and experience the sun in the desert, and they get rain. It's like, oh my God, this is like the cruel joke. But it's a cruel joke that gets people who believe in the Burning Man philosophy to understand the vision of the utopia that they're prancing and parading in. And I think that's sort of the point that you can take away from this, that there were a lot of people just freaked out who didn't really belong and who weren't buying into the Burning Man philosophy, but just buying into the Burning Man party. And if the Burning Man party wasn't happening their way, they were out of Dodge, but they couldn't get out of Dodge because of the rain and the mud. So it's a test of the philosophy, because there's so many things about Burning Man that make it this kind of utopian vision, right? You bring things into this city, you build up a city, and then you leave it without a trace. It's this idealistic thing, and rain screwed it up. So if you're not into climate change by now, if you don't buy into it, if you were a burner, well, after last weekend, you buy into it. You say, yeah, it's real. It's real. When it's raining like this in the desert and it's screwing up Burning Man, yeah, you buy into it. But I was thinking about Burning Man for another reason. It's because of a dear friend of mine who was a burner. I mean, she was like hardcore, dyed in the wool burner. She helped set things up. She helped create the maps. She helped just do everything that made Black Rock City, right? That's what they call Black Rock City. I mean, I just remember, and I know her because she was a business partner of mine. I mean, you would say, oh, the kind of business we're in, just straight corporate, financial stuff. But she was burner, which was like this wild, carefree, but very responsible, because she believed in the burner ethics, right? About what this creation of the city was all about. And she'd been into it for a long time. I remember when I was working with her, I never went. I only would let her regale me with stories about what happened at Black Rock City and all our friends. But I thought of her because she died of from after battling a lung disease in the spring, and it was sad. I mean, because I just saw. I had some email exchanges with her before, and she was still full of life and hope. But when she was gone, I wondered. I actually wondered about Burning Man, and her Burning Man buddies paid tribute to her before this year's event. But I almost saw this year's event as a test of people to see if they bought in to the whole Burning Man thing. And clearly, a lot of people did. Clearly, a lot of people just, what, it's party, right? And we're like half naked in the sun, right? We're all naked in the sun. So I thought of my friend, about my friend Susan, and I know that she was, to the degree that she could do something as a spirit, she was probably doing all she could to make sure that it wasn't worse than it was. But I think she would say it was a test to see if burners and the new people who've come in and tried to be burners, if they could adopt the philosophy, if they could be a part of this. And I think clearly we see that that's not necessarily the case. So who knows what's going to happen? I have never been to Burning Man. I've seen the evolution. I think first Burning Man uh, events, because I was working in San Francisco. I think I covered the first, not at Black Rock City, but the first in San Francisco Burning Man events, and then they went to Black Rock City, and I got to know a few, but I never went. What I was struck by this time was the number of Asian Americans at Burning Man. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, Asian Americans are everywhere, right? But they're and also the class or the level of people there at Burning Man. Neil Katyal, who is a former, I think he was Assistant Solicitor General. That means he argues before the Supreme Court, and legal scholar, appears on TV. He was at Burning Man. I mean, all sorts of people are at Burning Man. I was talking to a friend today. I said, "Were you a Burning Man too?" And she said, "No, but maybe my neighbor was," because he goes. I mean, this is here in New York, and I'm just saying, you just don't know who goes to Burning. 70,000. Now, that was reason to call some kind of emergency. I mean, if there was a 70,000, if it was an emergency at a football game with 70,000 people in the stadium, I mean, and there was some kind of catastrophic thing, yeah, you'd call for an emergency. But I think it wasn't worse because maybe a majority of the people weren't like heading for the fences as soon as they could. But I think it was because there were some people who were trying to be true to the burner spirit. And as I said, you can look it up. The burner spirit is this utopian vision about caring for each other and really not. It was almost like a Jimmy Buffett kind of idea, right? 5 o'clock somewhere. That idea is almost a meditative, non-striving, right? So I hope, I don't know, but I was surprised when I saw Asian Americans there because they're the most type A, right? And they got to chill. I saw one clip that showed Chris Rock leaving. I mean, I don't know, is he a burner? I don't know. He's more like a party guy, I think. Back to Neil Katyal, the legal guy. I saw him in a Twitter war with a co-defendant with Trump on these indictments, and 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 if you've seen Twitter, you know that there's some controversy about Marjorie Taylor Greene just saying, "Oh, all those pagans, they deserve it." Hey, these are people stuck, and it wasn't. It was more than just a traffic jam because it's out in the middle of nowhere. There are no services. It was a danger. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all, and her rant was ridiculous and just inhumane. People deserve sympathy, to deserve care. It's a news story. 70,000 people in deaths. Thank goodness it wasn't as bad. I mean, I say that in general because there was only one death, not knowing if it was related. And there are a number of rumors, people trying to say, oh, there was some kind of viral thing in the air there. Rumors. So for the most part, cooler heads did prevail. But it was a danger when 70,000 people are there. and they're stuck in the mud. And a lot of Asians. Like I said, I was just surprised that, oh man, so many Asians. And not your model minority. I mean, they seem like, okay, there's a level of coolness when you go to Burning Man that was kind of impressive. All right, so I think that's enough. I mean, I haven't been on for a couple of days, and I wanted to to make you aware of my show, Emil Amok, Lost NPR host, coming Wednesday night, 7 p.m. at 94 St. Mark's Place in the East Village under St. Mark's Theater. Tickets still available. Go get them. There's the link, frigid.nyc. And if you use the code Emil, nice things will happen to you. I promise. I promise. And if you're not there live, you can see it live stream from wherever you are. If you're in the Philippines, Hawaii, wherever, see it live stream. And then the other production I'm in is Ishmael Reed's The Conductor. The Conductor by Ishmael Reed, directed by Carla Blank. And we have one more Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday run coming up this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 3 p.m. It's at Theater for the New City, 155 First Avenue, also in the Village. I love the Village. Like I grew up in the Mission District in San Francisco, and you got Mission Street, you got Valencia, and I lived on Guerrero Street, and it's alive. The Village is alive, and yet there's nothing more civil about New York. When I think about the last few times I was in the Mission District, where I don't see any homeless. I mean, I'm sure there are homeless people in New York. Where I am, walking around in these villages, I don't see them. I mean, there's a couple of in there. I mean, but not like the kind of spread that I saw in Cisco when I was last there. Maybe it's because they're in other places in the city. Here, I understand, like uptown. But I actually feel quite at home in New York. And I was talking to Ishmael Reed, who wrote the playwright of The Conductor, and he said, God, isn't it amazing? We got to come all the way to New York to get our work seen. And that's what he said. I don't know why. I'd like to see The Conductor done in San Francisco. I'd like to see my show done. I'd like to bring my show back to San Francisco. Maybe in the coming months. Yeah. Anyway, hey, Emil Guillermo here. Thank you. I'm out of my closet. The gong is here. The gong is like resting in the gong is it's like laying back in the sofa, just saying, oh yeah, I'm just relaxed, letting Emil talk. He beats me up all day, and that's it. All right, the Conductor on Thursday through Sunday. Emil Amok, Lost NPR host, Wednesday the 6th and the 14th. All the information on amok.com. Also, check out my latest columns on ALDEF, the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund. That's ALDEF, AALDEF.org/blog. PETA podcast comes out tomorrow, talking about animal feelings. I mean, we know that animals suffer. We know that animals have pain. But do they have feelings? I think about that. Do they have feelings? Do you hurt an animal's feelings? I mean, if you say, Emil, I'm not going to go see a show. Well, my feelings are hurt. If you tell an ant, well, I know you're living, but if I smash you, will you have feelings, and will that hurt you? I mean, that's a question worth asking. PETA podcast coming up on Wednesday. That's it. I'm Emil Guillermo. We like to end with a little meditation. I haven't stopped that meditation. It's really good to me. I mean, I got this show coming up tomorrow, and I'm calm. See how calm I am? I'm really calm because of meditation. So, and as always, the meditation that's worthwhile is the loving kindness meditation, metta, where you say the simple chant. You say, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Oh, that ease part, that's so Jimmy Buffett, isn't it? It's like ease or easy. Easy, like when I was playing easy rock music in the 70s in Boston on WEZE. May you live with ease. That means something. Ease, looking for ease. Not hard, because with ease comes a greater chance at success, because it's easy, because it's you, and what's easy for you may be hard for others, and it's your way of excelling. It's like, may you live with ease. Of course, may you live with ease. Tell your friends about this little show we do here, and if you like it and missed any part of it, go to the beginning, repeat it, and send a link to your friends. I'm Emil Guillermo. Until next time, mahal kita.